Dakota land where the skies are wide and the freedom stands, with a Bible in my hand and a prayer in my heart, living this life where the wild plays its part. Dust on my boots and my hat pulled low, got my trusty rifle and I'm ready to go. Hunting the game as the sun hits the sky, in the heart of the 701 I feel so alive. Guns and the 701, that's how we roll. Faith in the good Lord, that's how we hold the line of the legacy that runs through our veins. In this wild, wild land where the spirit remains, we're living free, living bold side by side, with God on our plate and our hearts open wide. Ranching the fields, the cattle run free, with a purpose so strong, it's our grand legacy. The rivers run deep as we cast out our lines, fishing the waters where the North Star shines. Got the warmth of the sun with the chill of the night, with every shot fired we're ready to fight for the freedom we cherish. The second is true, with family beside us we stand through and through. Guns and the 701, that's how we roll. Faith in the good Lord, that's how we hold the line of the legacy that runs through our veins. In this wild, wild land where the spirit remains, we're living free, living bold side by side, with God on our plate and our hearts open wide. In a world that's spinning with sins that they wield, we stick to our values, our fate is revealed. With the word as our guide, we tread on the earth, a community built from the love, not the curse. Raising our voices, singing loud through the night, for God and our freedom, we'll continue the fight. Let the rifles ring out, let the spirits align. In North Dakota's embrace, our souls intertwine. So when you hear the gunshots and feel that proud sound, know it's faith and freedom that echoes around. From the fields of the ranch to the depths of the lake, with God on our side, there's nothing at stake. Guns and the 71, forever we'll stand in the heart of our faith in this great free
And it's a big one.
Oh no.
We're going to wait with that.
So, hey, good evening, Leon. How we doing?
Oh, I'm pretty good. Let's do this here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to turn. I don't know what happened to our chats. I don't know if this is happening for Jamie too. I know he's in, but it's like they changed the chat thing, and now it doesn't let the two go over. You see how it's overlapping us now?
You can
Fine.
hide that though, right?
Yeah, I can turn it off, but I know people like to see it, but I guess I'll have to look at it from the other way. Hey, Dan, good evening to you over on that western edge over there at Dickinson. David, he chimed in. David was up celebrating his grandpa's birthday today, so congratulations there, and what an honor it was for him. I mean, he's still got his grandpa with him, and God bless him for having him in his life still. Kelly, Good evening. And so, everybody, if you're wondering what's happening, I had a meeting today. So we'll just kind of recap before we get going here. The North Dakota Outdoor Heritage Fund. I wasn't sure I was going to get here in time. So I got it. Hey, Leon, Dave, anyone can you go do the show? So here's Leon. I sure appreciate that, Leon, because I wasn't sure I was going to be here on time.
I was I was weighing whether or not to spend time with my son or to jump on. No, I'm kidding.
Well, it's good to know where I stand, But anyway, so
I don't know if you saw last week at the end of the show. Like I wasn't done ranting. I was on a tear, and then
Yeah.
I hear a knock on the big picture window here, and there's
Uh-huh.
Eli, and he's got a rabbit, and he's holding it up, and he's just jumping around, and he's so excited, and I'm like, wait, what? What?
Jamie says he don't have that on his, so it's got to be a setting we have. So we'll have to go check that out. But hey, before we get going too far, we always like to take care of a little business, or I do anyway. And I love the fact that you, me, Jamie, we love the Second Amendment, don't we? I mean, this country without the Second Amendment wouldn't exist. So I always like to start the show: a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
I like that you have the emphasis on the right parts of that and the commas where they are, because they like to run that together. They're talking about a militia. They're talking about the National Guard. No.
And believe it or not, I didn't run through it, but I used to read it differently till we had Governor Armstrong on. And that's how he said it. And I was like, you're right. Them commas make they do emphasize exactly the meaning, don't they?
Yep.
And so I got to see Kelly today. He spoke to us this morning before we started too. So yeah, I think I'm going to probably have him on here again here soon. So I'll let everybody know when that happened. It'll be after the 4th, obviously, but yeah, we'll get through that. All right. I always start with a prayer. So everybody would just join me. And I kind of picked one out here that I'd seen before. And I thought it was fitting coming with a celebration of our independence coming up. Heavenly Father, creator of all, we come before you on this upcoming founding with grateful hearts, acknowledging you as the giver of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You are the source of all that is good, the foundation of true freedom, and the author of our unalienable rights. As we celebrate our nation's independence, we pause to honor you, the one who endows us with the sacred gift of freedom. We thank you for inspiring those who penned these truths in our declaration, recognizing our rights do not come by the hands of governments, but from your divine authority. In your name we pray, Lord. Amen. And you see why I picked that one, Leon?
God-given rights.
My own. What's that?
God-given rights that are supposed to be protected by government, not the other way around.
Absolutely. Well, and I always keep a couple verses. I love these two verses here, Titus 1:7-8. An overseer must be above reproach, not overbearing, not quick-tempered, not pursuing dishonest gain, and reflecting the stewardship of God's household. And I think that's another great verse for our leaders to understand what role they sit in. I shouldn't say leaders, our elected officials. They're not my leader. But
it also it perfectly encapsulates conservatism.
Absolutely. So, well, I tell you what, David says, yeah, Tony Wetch. I hope I pronounced that right, David. That's his grandpa, 100 years old today. How about that? World War II Navy vet. My goodness, what a gem you have there.
I bet he's got some stories.
Yeah, my grandfather was a World War II vet, and I soaked it all in. I lost back in 95, so it's been a few years. So soak it in, David. I'm sure you are. So 100 years old, congratulations. Can you imagine the things that man has seen? 1926. Think about that. Yeah. Kelly, good evening. Jamie says, yeah, I think I went through that. Says, evening, 100 proof Chicagoland. I think that's my sister. Hey, thanks for tuning in tonight, sis. I'm pretty sure that's
100 proof. Gee.
Yeah. Well, she used to have a band named 100 Proof, and they were really good, man. You missed out.
100 proof. God, your family runs high octane, huh?
I'll tell you, she got more. She is the road warrior. I'm telling you, she'd make trips between Rapid City and Illinois. And her and her husband now are going to escape the clutches of Illinois and be moving to Kentucky soon. So, yeah, congratulations! I can't wait because they're not going to be far from the Ark encounter. And our plan is that when she gets moved in, when they get down there and get settled, we want to go down there with the family and go and take in Ken Ham's the Ark encounter. You know what that is, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that.
I don't normally I like just being here, but I would venture out to go see that. 100%.
Yeah, everybody that I've talked to has seen it. Like, you need to take 2 or 3 days if you can. I was like, really? And they're like, it is amazing. So now I'm all hyped up. I want to go see it now. So, but all right. Well, what do you say we talk about the Supreme Court? They got it wrong again. Now we're going to talk about the Outdoor Heritage Fund, everybody, but this needed addressing. I heard the decision. See, I remember I was in a meeting all day. I was at government, the center of government in Bismarck, and I didn't have any outside information coming in. Can you imagine that right there? You'd have thought that we should have announced that during, because it was such a huge decision. But yeah, they to me, they got this one wrong. 6-3. It wasn't even 5-4. It was a 6-3 ruling, and they struck down the executive order that once and basically for all was going to do away with anchor babies, right? Or as they like to call it, birthright citizenship. But let's face it, it's anchor babies, right? Am I wrong on that?
There is a whole tourism. There's an industry around this thing, man. And I don't understand why more African Americans aren't up in arms about this, because there are bright spots in this, like Clarence Thomas. Oh my God, dude! This dude. He's awesome. And he took them to task about twisting history and that whole thing, because that's exactly what they were doing. Like, you got a guy like me, I understand my history. So I understand why there is a 14th Amendment. Again, Democrats were acting badly. They attempted to subjugate and retard the rights of African Americans who, and again, and I made this point several times because I've been arguing with idiots all day on this thing. But the 14th Amendment, it was never meant to hand automatic citizenship out to every child of every illegal alien and birth tours. That's not what it was. Forged in the blood and the hope of the enslaved to secure equal citizenship for freed Black Americans. And to see it twisted today, sorry.
No, you're right.
Jesus my grits. I'm just going to say it like that. And Thomas explained the whole thing. He explained it. All persons born or naturalized in the United States are subject to the jurisdiction there. And that's the key point. The subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. Right. Yes. So that was never meant to be a global free-for-all. It was written to fix the abomination of Dred Scott and finally grant citizenship to the freed Black slaves. Now, and these are my ancestors, so I'm speaking from that. I am the product of freed men, freed by Republicans, and
there you fighting. Remember that, everybody. The Republicans. The Republican Party is who granted freedom to the enslaved people. Okay? It's that simple. It wasn't a Democrat. They were fighting to keep it. Remember that.
Yeah. And again, as a descendant of freedmen, and that's who the 14th Amendment was written to guarantee citizenship after the Democrats did their whole slavery thing. It's disappointing to me because my ancestors went through hell under Democrats, and even under their crushing and dehumanizing schemes and their organizations like for eugenics and the KKK and all of that, their pseudo legislation, we never took setbacks from that. My dad never took that as a setback and just said, "Oh well." No, never that. We responded the way strong African Americans have from the beginning, using every obstacle as another stepping stone. And folks like me, I'm proud to be American, and I teach my son the same thing. And then you see things like this. You see things like Democrats still doing atrocious, abominable things. Again, African Americans bled for this country. They shed blood in the Civil War, even in the Revolutionary War. Christmas addicts, anybody? I mean,
people don't learn that anymore, do they? We learned it. I learned that in history.
Yeah,
but they just have whitewashed it, and they don't teach it anymore. And so then you have a whole generation or generations after me and you who frankly don't understand that you had blacks, African American men and women that were very heavily involved. Some fought, some were on the sides, right? They were taking care of soldiers. I mean, they were right there alongside during, like you said, the Revolutionary Wars, the Civil War, and all throughout history. But we don't teach that anymore, do we?
We do not. And my ancestors were domiciled here, meaning this was their permanent home.
They lived here, and that's what the 14th Amendment was for.
Exactly, and that's what Thomas was honing in on.
Yes,
that point there. They owed no allegiance to anyone else. They were over here under the auspices of the American government. Like they had no homeland to go back to because they were brought over here under the jurisdiction of the United States government. And Democrats were like, oh no, they're not citizens, and so they crafted this, and it just it upsets me to see this history so twisted, and it also upsets me. Like I've been arguing with like Dustin Garrillo and that Triple X Todd, the guy with the beard and the girl glasses and the man boobs and all of that. But the fact of the matter is, I'm an African American. Like this history is kind of near and dear to me. So when I see a bunch of white liberal soy boys twisting this history, it enrages me. Like you don't get to tell me, no, it's for like, does anybody really believe that the Supreme Court back then believed that, if you were to run across the Rio Grande and put your foot there and pop out a kid, that's what they were writing this for? No, the Democrats actually, they were using that in order to stop the 14th Amendment, which is why they have that little phrase in there. Good God, I had just a brain fart. The jurisdiction thereof. That's why that's in there. Absolutely. And to see this,
I want to read this for everybody. So that, I mean, yes, we can still visit about this, but this is your 14th Amendment.
Yep.
All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Very important, because they're leaving, like you said, they're leaving that out. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or the immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or deny it to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. That's the whole first section that they're talking about. They left out a whole bunch, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. And again, Donald Trump gets a lot of garbage. He gets a lot of crap. But I applaud him for at least bringing this up, because we were just going to go along like, everything is fine, and people come over here and they have their kids, and now they're American citizens and all. And Donald Trump is the first president, the first one to say, wait a minute, this isn't what this is meant to be. And it is shocking to, well, I guess it's not. Amy Coney and,
it's the same. John Roberts and her, to me, have been two of the biggest disappointments in many, many cases.
Gorsuch was a surprise to me.
He was on this too. I was actually very surprised that he sided with Thomas and Alito, honestly. But I mean, I'm glad we got Clarence Thomas there. I mean, I'm sure.
When he goes, man.
What's that?
When he goes, Oh my! We don't have originalists.
No.
Like Alito, yes. Gorsuch has a glimmer of hope every now and then, but when him and Alito go, what are we leaving this country? What am I leaving Eli?
Yeah, that's just it. I can't think of his name right now. He did pass away in office. Remember, I can see him. He was an originalist as well.
Yep.
I
know what you're talking about.
I don't know why I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now, but when he passed away, some people, I heard all the things. He was in Texas when it happened, and he was on a hunting trip even. And of course, I was in Rapid City, and they're like, "Hey, did you see he died?" I go, "What?" And of course, in the rumor mill that someone probably put a pillow over his head or so, but he was fantastic as well. Well, him and Thomas were cut from the same thread.
100%.
And I remember how they fought Thomas. I was in school, so we were watching this process, and we had, thankfully we had teachers. My government teacher was just fantastic and made sure that we knew. And then we watched this process play out because they were, putting in new Supreme Court justices. Also, by that chance in 1992 as well, when we had him again in class, that's when they passed the 27th Amendment. So we got to watch that process, go. You don't see very many amendments passed, and we got to witness that firsthand. So that was pretty cool. Scalia, thank you, Mr. Chairman of the North Dakota GOP. Matthews.
Matt, yeah.
It was on the tip of my tongue, and I could not remember it. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe that. We should never forget him, right? But
there is a reason that the Civil Rights Act of 1866 specifically carved out people subject to any foreign power. That is the reason for that. I don't understand. I fear for the future of this country if this is the way it's headed. We got rights that were magically, conjured up out of thin air in the what is it, the Planned Parenthood thing, and then you got rights like these right here that were just magically expanded, and nobody is upset about that. We know, we understand. If you have any grasp of history, why this is even a thing, we understand what the Democrats were doing. And we understand why this was needed. So how is it controversial? I don't understand it.
It's not. And, you were asking, what do we do now? And, Trump right away, he's asking Congress to pass something, but short of a constitutional amendment, which is not going to happen. It's not going to change anything. It'll just be.
We can't even get the SAVE Act, man.
No.
I mean.
And so it got me to thinking, how do we stop this now? And what could you do within your powers of executive order? And I have an answer. Any guesses as to what that might be?
No,
I had a 100-mile trip home to think about this, and I was up at 3:00 this morning getting ready to go up there. So I didn't want to fall asleep. So I made sure I kept my mind busy. I'm sitting there going, well, there is something he could do, and why not? Executive order that if you are within the 8th month of your pregnancy, you may not travel to the United States. He could do that. He has the power to stop people from coming in here.
At one point at Ellis Island, that was a thing. If they checked you and you were pregnant, they send you back. That was it was common practice because they didn't want people who would be a drain. They wanted people who could come here and work. And it's turned on its head now. We have an entitlement system here that actually draws people who are unproductive from all over the world. And then the Democrats use that, give me your tired and your huddled masses. No, we need them to be productive members of society. If it's my tax, I have taken to taking gold and silver coins as payment because I do not want my tax dollars going for this garbage. I'm watching Elon Musk and Doge get pilloried with USAID when from the time I could recognize what a TV was. I saw Sally Struthers up there, a 300-pound, and all these little African kids. How much money have we given to those people? How much of our money is going everywhere except for here? We got ghettos here. We got inner city schools that are failing. We got infrastructure problems. We got all. I remember when Trump wanted to build the border wall and secure it, they were like $3 billion. Where are we going to get that money? Are you kidding me? Like,
well, Dan says it right here. He goes, Leon, that will be North Dakota when they find out that we feed every kid. Welcome to the projects and the reservation. Yeah, I live here in the heart of the reservation, and I can tell you, I've seen what a failed system that is, and then it becomes generational.
Yep.
And then what do? It's pretty tough it'd be really tough to change the reservation system without completely removing the sovereignty, which I've never believed in anyway. I know that does not set well with some people, but I'm not very politically correct. You are United States citizens, but see, they're not. They're still classified to this day by law as wards of the United States federal government. Did you know that?
I did.
I mean, so here you've got an entire group generationally, and I'm talking many generations, that are still considered wards of the federal government. And now, just like spoiled children, if you give them everything, what do? They don't respect it. They don't care about it, and they sure don't work for it. And I'm not saying all
that is a good point. That is, and I've had this conversation before with African Americans about the ghetto. The reason the ghetto looks like the ghetto is because nobody owns anything. You're not proud of it. Like, you see me out here covered in sawdust and weeds and just all kinds of, because I'm making this property look good. I want it to look good because it belongs to me. And if you don't have that, if the government is paying, and you'll notice the government doesn't give you enough to get out of that situation. It gives you enough to be comfortable enough in that situation because they still need you. They still need you.
Well, you have to be that worker generator that's sending it up the chain, kind of like the mob bosses, man. You better do it. You better send it up the chain or you're going to get whacked,
100%. That's why they get so PO'd at folks like me and Officer Tatum and that get off the reservation and go, wait a minute.
Yeah, hey, what are you doing? You have it good here.
Are you running? Toby, get back here. No, nobody. No.
My sister, she goes, the entire city of Chicago is generational government victimhood. Absolutely. Victimhood. 100%. There's a whole nother subject. And this all ties in. What really bothered me most after hearing these cases, this one probably bothered me the most today because it's going to create a brand new influx of birthright citizen tourism, and that's exactly. And both, I believe, Alito was the one that brought that to light, if I remember right, in the dissent. But I'm telling you right now, if they can do this to the 14th Amendment, what do they do with the first, the second, third, fourth, fifth? What happens then?
Yep.
What kind of decisions are we going to see if we lose the House and Senate? We got basically then 2 years left of Trump to protect us. And then what? Because I tell everybody here right now, whether you love Trump or not, whether you like Republicans or not, if you put Democrats back in power, they will ram through. They did it last time. They're good at that. They stick together. And they're going to pack the Supreme Court, and then we're done.
100%.
And that is not a far-off conspiracy theory. That's reality. They've already said
we saw what they already tried. Yes. I mean, we saw that. And then if they get these data centers everywhere and AI, how are you going to even mount a rebellion? I've been saying that here for the past month. I'm like, you guys don't understand the severity, the precariousness of the position that this country is in right now. There are Lego pieces that are moving and going together right now that if we don't navigate this thing could be disastrous. We won't have another 250th.
Yeah,
we won't.
And not just that, everybody's complacent because Trump won. It's even worse. I've always said that even when I was with the NRA, that, hey, I like having a Republican or pro-gun president, which tends to be a Republican. But I go, people get complacent, and that's when they start slipping stuff through, or they start regulating through a regulatory agency that has no power but acts as if it does.
100%.
And people get complacent and just so, okay. Yeah, it's horrible. Hey, let's go take a quick break. We'll do our first ad for the night. We're already a half hour into this, Leon. We can make probably a 3-hour show, but we're not going to. So let's take some sponsors. I stopped by the way, Lauer Auto Repair today, and I seen a Chevrolet there in my favorite state of existence with its hood up because it had problems. But and Axe says you got to get there because we left a Freedom Rod there with him that I think Dave is going to pick up. You know what I'm talking about. So
yeah, I got to get out there.
Anyway, we will pick this up on the other side of the break. And again, thank our sponsors, support our sponsors, and tell them you heard it on Guns in the 701 and you appreciate what they do. Be right back.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalon's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalon and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just 1 block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemmon. Kalon's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
All right. Also stop by Crappie Creek Feeds down there, and it's over there by Isabel, but Glad Valley. Jason or Megan Holmes, 605-850-3998. They have everything you need for your livestock, your mineral needs, your liquid needs, salt. You give them a call, and I'm telling you, the fly control that they have right now, and you can get the natural stuff like I've been using as the garlic. And my cows like it. They don't even think it's that bitter, which I was actually shocked. And I'm telling you, you're going to want to get some of the best stuff out there. He handles Anna-Pro feed supplements, and he is a true blue Second Amendment supporter. Again, Crappie Creek Feeds, LLC, down by Glad Valley, South Dakota, 605-850-3998. And we're back. I got all these different screens up on my end, Leon. So I'll tell you what. Should we play that clip? Do you still have that clip there? I can see it here.
It's basically just saying, just talking about the ruling here.
And it's a big one. It has to do with birthright citizenship. It was an executive order that President Trump, on day one of his second term in January 2025, signed the executive order. It was immediately challenged, and now we can tell you that the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled against President Trump's order to limit birthright citizenship.
Now, so when I first saw that, I was upset. And I immediately came out and social media, the whole thing. But what I want, there is a bright spot here. J.D. Vance says something today. I think he was on with Laura. No, I'm getting that wrong. But what he said was he predicted that America would have an opportunity to reverse this thing, and he said it's hanging by a thread. And the reasoning, the rationale he had behind that was he noted that legal experts had predicted a 8-1 or a 7-2 ruling, and not a 5-4,
Really?
which shows that we're closer to changing it than even the legal experts thought. So that's comforting. I've heard a couple of other legislative moves. I think Rand Paul has something floating out there that I don't have a lot of confidence in, because I've seen the way those guys work. But that's a plus. You get in there, you tweak it a little bit, you have a better argument, maybe.
Yeah, no. And on another bright spot, I did see that the Supreme Court is actually, in their other listings, they're going to take on the challenge of assault weapons bans. Did you see that?
I did see that. I thought that was
forward to that. Yeah, I mean, we'll see that in the next term. Viramontes versus Cook County and Grant versus Higgins. That's the two. And the latter was actually, National Association of Gun Rights brought that. National Association of Gun Rights. I love the NRA. I know Jamie loves the NRA. They do good things, and they're making some changes. And I got you and I will talk off camera as to what my involvement may be with them by next year again. But you got them, these guys, National Association of Gun Rights. You got the Second Amendment Foundation. These two entities, they are on fire at taking cases all the way through the court system, if you haven't noticed. And that's a huge thing, because that is what they focus on. NRA has a big umbrella. Gun Owners of America has not as big of an umbrella, but again, they're trying to do more legislative work than court cases, because we've got gun groups that do the court cases. Not that they don't do them. NRA's been in some pretty big ones. DC versus Heller, Bruin, huge things. But I love that these guys, they start this out and go, you know what? We're not taking it anymore. We're going to start working this through the district courts and the appellate courts and into the federal courts, and then work it up the chain. And then the big boys step in and help out as well after that. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to see how that goes. I feel a little better with the recent Second Amendment cases, but again, them haven't all went our way either, Leon.
Yep. And what I like to point out to people is it's so important that you have voices like Clay's and Jamie's and mine and other folks, because what the Democrats do is they do a blitzkrieg and they keep going. And if you're not watching what's going on, if you don't have a bunch of guys out there, with eyes on, they're going to sneak things through. And that's what's been happening up until like here recently. And now we're getting some traction going. But we got to keep eyes on, because Democrats are seditious. They are malicious. They want to see this country. They want to see us like the EU. They want to see us defanged and deneutered.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. They are masters at sneaking stuff through, being chaotic, deceitful, and I kind of
look at the voting thing. How they navigated that. You know how long it took them, and nobody had eyes on, which is why they were able to go into every state and just tweak these election laws just a little bit, and they win in court because it was done legally, but kind of in the dark, because Republicans didn't have eyes on.
Well, that's what they do. So they can't win in the arena of ideas. They just don't. They get beat every time. So they took a different strategy. I'll give them this. They don't quit ever. And it's even in the Second Amendment arena. People get complacent. I'm like, you can't. You don't lift your foot off the pedal. You hammer it down now and hammer it home. But we don't. I doesn't say we don't, but our side doesn't do that. They're like, oh, we got our one little battle. Well, we're good now. While the enemy's over there surrounding you and flanking you and then ambush you.
You ever heard this one? Why are you making such a big deal about that? It's because a bunch of these little deals turn into a big deal. That's why. Oh, why? Nobody uses a bump stock. Why worry about that little thing? Yeah, because it's a foot in the door for the ATF. That's what it is.
I wish Jamie was. I know Jamie's listening because him and I actually had that exact discussion when that was happening. Because he's like, "Oh, it's like, no, you don't understand." I said, "Yeah, it's a little bitty piece, but what's it going to lead to?" Yeah. And I was right. Look at all the things that came with it, and now, allegedly, my bump stock was lost for a long time, but miraculously, after everything was thrown out, we're good. I found it again. I just came wandering home. Hey, Daryl. Hey, Daryl's with us tonight. Daryl Lease. I was at your favorite board meeting today, Daryl, the North Dakota Outdoor Heritage Fund Advisory Board. So, yeah, Dan says it's because 90% of the rebubs are Dems. Well, there's a lot of those in there too. Now,
and we just had a conversation about same and similar on air with some other folks. But, dude, if we keep electing electable people, air quotes, because they poll test good in the suburbs and they're a little rough around the edges. Mm-hmm. These are the reason why we are the country that we are, a country in decline, in my humble opinion, and we're listing left is because of the squishes. We don't have those bold primary Ronald Reagan colors anymore. We have the soft pastel. We have the soy boys. They got a little sugar in their tank. And when I say sugar, I mean poly soy, political sugar in their tank.
We need a T-shirt now, Paul.
and I'm telling you, this is how it happens. You need those bulwarks. You need the tenacious guys that won't give you an inch. And the thing, and the guys that you think are, curmudgeonly and set in their ways, and those are going to be the guys that are holding the line. Because when that line snaps, because the soy boy holding that line doesn't have the tensile strength God gave a cricket, you're going to wish for a Clay or a Jamie. Or like one of my sons. You're going to wish somebody like that was there. Or Matthew Simon. Or somebody like that. You're going to wish those guys were there. Because the squishes that you're going to get are going to cede power bit by bit by bit. That's how we got in this mess that we're in right now.
We just need some patents again,
100%.
Bring back a few.
You need some Arlie Ermies, man. Yes, that's what we need.
You. And, I know a lot of people, we heard this the first term during Trump. Oh, I don't like what he said. Oh, boo-hoo, your feelings got hurt. But he was right. He just doesn't sugarcoat it. This Trump come from New York, and he fought. Did he have a hand up? Absolutely. But it's what he made of that. He did that on his own, and he fought and scratched for every inch of it, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Now, you might not like him. You might not like his attitude. But what he built, he did. And he didn't.
You also got to look at his family history. His family line is fascinating.
Yes, it is.
He didn't come from just like some folks that just fell off the turnip truck like Kamala Harris. He came from a long line of thinkers, of tinkerers, of doers, of entrepreneurs. His grandfather and his father and all those guys, they were mental powerhouses. So they dismissed Trump. But you shouldn't.
And, he's not that far removed from where his family originated from, which was Ireland?
Yeah,
I remember correctly, because Don Jr. spent, summers over there with his grandmother. If you guys haven't read Don Jr.'s book or Trump's, but I couldn't believe that when I found out that he spent a lot of time overseas. Don Jr. was in Colorado as a hunting guide, sleeping on his buddy's floor because he wasn't going to go back to New York because his dad wanted him, Donald Jr., wanted him to come and basically go to school. He said, no, I don't want to do that, Dad. I don't know if anybody knows this, but he went out and lived like you and me. Yep. and made his way in the world. So, yeah, I wish people would actually check into the backgrounds of the Trump family. They're not who they've been portrayed to be. No. The evil doers. Like, granted, does he get everything right? No. But who has ever gotten everything right except one man that walked this earth, right?
100%.
So, Daryl says, did you give all our money away? Well, they sure tried, Daryl. I'm telling you. They sure tried to do it. And Oh, it was an interesting meeting, and we're going to get in on that. So, but I don't know. Is there anything else we want to wrap up on this, and then?
Yeah, I'm gonna go and play with the kid. I don't want him to become a derelict, or I gotta spend some father time with him, just so we get him right and spend time with my dad. But I love hopping on here with you guys. I wish I lived further west, because I see Jamie and Daryl and Doug out there popping prairie dogs, man. Good God, I gotta find. I love this place, but I gotta have like a cabin or something closer to you.
You might not own one, but I got a cabin you can stay in once in a while on a lake just south of here. So you want to
talking love language, man.
I mean, you just throw the family in and head down to the lake, and it's nothing. It's nothing fancy, but it's a great little getaway. There's no doubt about that.
Hey, Nick. Grab your go bag.
Leon, I appreciate you coming on and stepping in there. While I really thought I was going to be late getting home today, and I did I came in just under the clock, you could say. So
good deal. Heavy lead foot.
Yeah, it got pretty heavy. Hey, I had my German Volkswagen, my Farfenugen. It was like, what are you talking about? Oh, you guys got to go look up the old Volkswagen commercials.
Yeah.
We got a Passat diesel. Yeah. I got a Passat diesel, so we hammered down and headed south. So.
I had a Passat, and something happened with that thing. I took it to Fargo. They told me that they would have to send it to Minneapolis to work on it, and I'm like, yep, I'm done with that. Dodge, give me a Dodge.
Except, I believe the company that owns Ram now, I believe they're based out of Germany now, but I don't remember. I know there was some switches there. That's why they become Ram and drop the Dodge name. But
I tell you this, when my Ram had computer problems, what I did, I just, instead of taking it in and spending $1,500 or whatever, I just reprogrammed that thing myself.
Oh, good. Yeah. Now I can call you, because I have a 2012 Ram. So when that happens, yeah. My sister, Clay, always thinks that speed limits are suggestions. Well, they are.
They are. They're not tied to any actual data. I mean, as long as you got what my dad used to call a fuzz buster sitting on your dashboard.
I got a good one. I got an old one, but it picks up laser and radar. I'm telling you, that thing, I have held on to it because I can't believe how far out it goes. And, they got to be, having their gun on. But if you're in traffic, they do, and you can pick it up a long ways away. I bet the new ones wouldn't.
Yeah.
But, I don't really have a lot of respect for speed limits. It's not about safety. We all know that. And I've proven that when I argue with them, hell, now it's 80. Now we're safe at 80, but we were only safe at 70 for how many years? And if I cross the state line, then I'm only, safe at 55. it's and like the federal highway system.
Flock cameras. That's another show. I don't want to get you started. But anyway, God bless. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yep. Thanks, Leon. And you guys have a very blessed 4th of July, or I should say Independence Day celebration, and have some fun. Go celebrate our freedom. All right.
I plan on it. It's going to be spectacular.
We'll get the recap next week.
100%. Take it easy.
Hey, by the way, quick question. Are you doing a show Friday night?
Of course.
Okay, I didn't
even think about that.
That's the 3rd, and I know Todd's going to be gone, so we're not doing a show on Friday morning on K-Fire because he's going out to see his mother, and I don't blame him. But they're doing some kind of a feed all day. It sounded like pretty much on Friday, so I don't know. They're doing something else as well, so I won't be on Friday morning because I didn't know if you were going to do a show Friday night or not. So
now that you mentioned it,
you might want to take the weekend off.
Well, you're the boss.
I'm the boss. Yeah.
I'll put out a little more content, and take Friday off. Me and Eli go shoot something.
Oh, now to me, there's what you do. Absolutely.
100%.
So, I'll probably be haying, Leon. It dried up around here now. No rain the last 12 hours, so we're good. So anyway, Leon, thank you again for stepping in there and covering for me. And luckily, I made it back. But it's been a great conversation this first hour.
Always great, man. God bless.
God bless. All right. Leon Francis, Blackbeard Logic. I love having Leon come on here. I know we've been talking about doing something with David and Leon and having a roundtable discussion, and we might even have to invite JD if he's not doing nothing. And I think we need to make that happen. There's a ton of things going on right now in the shooting world, in all kinds of different aspects. So I think it'd be good. We could also do a roundtable on the current events. That could be interesting. Leon mentioned, cameras, and don't even get me started on cameras. I'm sure everybody knows what I'd like to do with traffic cams. But so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take a quick break. Well, actually, we'll take the big break here. After we come back from that, I'm going to go into a couple little things here, and I'm going to call it a night and sign off. That's been a very long day for me. And again, we will not be broadcasting on K-Fire from these platforms. I won't be on Friday because Todd Mitchell Morning, he will be gone visiting his mother out in the Twin Cities. So, you know what? That's okay. Everybody should have a great time and go out there and celebrate our nation's 250th. We shall be right back after this break, and we'll come back and talk about possible Supreme Court cases that we're going to be hearing. I'm kind of excited to hear it, so we'll be right back.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalon's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalon and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just one block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemmon, Kalon's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
For the best gun gear for every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton LaserCraft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton LaserCraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton LaserCraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton LaserCraft, where memories are engraved.
All right, and again, Crappie Creek Feeds, our newest sponsor here, LLC. Jason and Megan Holmes, 605-850-3998. Again, 605-850-3998. They got all your great mineral products, liquid salt, fly control, you name it. They have the nutrition needs that you are expecting and want. He handles Anapro feed nutrition supplements. And I'm telling you, the best pricing I have found anywhere. And he's a patriot, and he's a Second Amendment lover. So you're going to want to go down to Crappie Creek Feeds down in Glen Allen, South Dakota. Jason Holm at 605-850-3998. And we are back. So we are going to talk about that Supreme Court thing that's going to probably be coming up. But what I want to talk about now is the Industrial Commission of North Dakota and the Outdoor Heritage Fund. And the reason is that I hold the seat. Daryl, I know Daryl's on tonight, so appreciate that. I hold that seat for North Dakota Farm Bureau. So I might be a little bit different. Obviously, I can see it when I'm there as to how I vote. I look at our policy book. I pretty much know where we stand. I've been involved with the Farm Bureau long enough as to how we believe what our delegates have voted and put into our policy book for the North Dakota Farm Bureau. And I vote accordingly, which made it so I think I voted, if I remember, I voted for one grant out of the ones that made it through. But here's the thing. So it's approximately $1 to $1.5 million drop into the Outdoor Heritage Fund. And of course, then those grants are applied, or the grants come in and are applied for that money, and goes before the Outdoor Heritage Fund Advisory Board. Well, we met today, and then we met last December as well. We spent a lot of money. Some of it kind of came back. It was given back. I had something with some unfinished projects, or I don't remember what they were talking about there. But I guess long story short, we had roughly $10 million to spend. Yes, I said that, everybody. $10 million to spend on projects. And again, a lot of the projects that come in are from governmental agencies. There wasn't as many of those this time. I was glad to see that, but there's still plenty there. I'm never a fan of that myself. They've got their own funding resources, and they always try to, I like how they call it stretching our dollar or getting more bang for our buck. But let's just face it. They want as many dollars as they can get from anywhere and just make the project bigger, whether they should or not. I know the plots program was in there quite a bit this round on several of them, or they were trying to tie different stuff in with the plots program. I'm not a fan of plots, everybody. And I get beat up over that a little bit sometimes by some people that really support it and try to shout me down. But the private land, what is it? Private land, outdoor, I don't even know. It's plots. It's the public access payment that they try to get landowners to do. Here's the problem with it. I don't care that they do it. Knock yourself out. And some people might actually sign up. Obviously, they do. But I'm not going to give unmonitored access, free for all, to the public. We don't have public land here at our place. It's private. And that's my biggest problem with the plots program. You have no control over who can and can't go on there. And I'm just never going to sign up for a program. Money is not that important to me. I'm never going to sign up for that. That gives me zero control over who's, then it just will become like public land. I won't have nothing on it because everything will leave. So I don't vote for those projects. I'm not going to give any more money for that because I think it's a failed program. And that's what they keep talking today. And a lot of the grant applicants, and I appreciate them coming. It's not their fault. The money's there. It's sitting there, and this is the program we have. But they come, and a lot of the talk was habitat, grass habitat. Not that that's bad, but grass doesn't take you through the winter in a bad winter when they're talking birds. And now there's this push. I wish you could have been there today, Daryl. They're trying to actually get rid of trees. Seriously. There was a grant in there from the North Dakota Wildlife Federation that literally would get rid of trees. They're targeting Russian olives and a bunch of other ones that the government themselves pushed through a lot of the EQIP programs and the other tree planting programs years ago. And now they want to get rid of them, I suppose, invasive species. I'm telling you right now, some of the best bird hunting I have right now here is in those tree rows with Russian olive. And if you want grouse, they love them Russian olive trees. They love to sit in them. So they do have a place as far as I'm concerned. So it was an interesting meeting. I will say that the $10 million that we had approximately to spend, and that could waver because there's still some grants that may be returning money from the last round. So that's why I say approximate, because it could go up. But we have another meeting in December. Well, we had over $10 million worth of applications. So that was a big discussion as to what we were going to do. I know what some wanted. Some feel that we can go ahead and allocate those funds because it's always dumping in there, right? It's always dumping in there. That's not the point. Deficit spending is never good. What happens when that revenue don't dump in there for whatever reason? Maybe the bottom fell out of the oil and gas markets, and now they're not pumping, or now they're not pushing, and that's where that money's generated off of. So I was glad that we did not have that happen. We did not go into deficit spending. There was a cap that was suggested. Some people thought we should just fund everybody, and somebody had figured out that, we can just fund them, the rest of these, after we weeded through them, got down to them ones that we prioritized, which that's what needs to happen more often. Not every grant's worth funding. We threw out a lot of the things that have walking paths, which I was glad to see. I was disappointed to see that it come out to a 6-6 vote, so the motion did not pass in a tie like that, the way they operate. And the one up there now it's a great big complex that they've been working on up in that Williston area. And I remember the old one. It was no good. That was just like an old school building that they pulled in there and set up a trap range. And it was pretty primitive back when I was still an NRA rep. And they started in on working on this project even when I was there, putting it together and getting people put together, land put together, and they got it done. Nice facility. They wanted to build a bunker trap, which is pretty cool because it's got, I believe, 15 traps in it. And then those things can weave back and forth. It's a computer controlled system. You don't know where they're coming out of. And I've only had the opportunity to shoot that once. Good evening, Tom. Good to have you. Brian Warner. Hey, good evening, my fellow MVE. Sorry I'm late to the party. That's okay. Anyway, we're talking about the grants at the Outdoor Heritage Fund. There was a lot of support for it and a lot of back and forth as to, was this something that really met the objectives of the Outdoor Heritage Fund? Everybody thinks of that as conservation. What is heritage? To me, I thought this was a good use. If we're going to spend this money, I thought it was a great use of that money so that you could introduce kids, maintain a nice facility up there, and add one more discipline to the complex already. They had gotten one grant last year, if I remember right, or the year before. And they've done great things with it. They are good stewards of the money they're awarded. If you create young shooters, we always talk about access. Well, if you don't got no shooters, what's the number one thing we hear today? Nobody's coming. The younger generation is not shooting. The younger generation is not hunting. The younger generation is not outdoors. So why not? To me, that's a great avenue, because I don't know about any of you, but I know I've seen it my entire life, that the kids that are out there hunting and shooting and fishing with their parents or their grandparents, they do that with their kids, and their kids, they become lifetime outdoors people. They become lifetime hunters. They become lifetime fishermen, lifetime shooters. They also, in doing that, they're also going to be advocates for your wildlife, for habitat, for the Second Amendment, for all these activities, and they're going to pass that on to the next generation. So to me, when you make that investment, and it was not a lot of money, what they were asking for, especially when you look at some of the grants that were sitting there, that was the bang for the buck, and probably the best one out there, because my goodness, you can affect hundreds of kids. And I think they even have a high school trap shooting program. Maybe I know Dan was listening here. Maybe he knows more about it if Williston has one, because I do believe Dickinson has one. And we're starting to see this reversal by bringing in the high school trap shooting, which then there was a whole discussion about, well, we didn't fund a basketball court, and my kids play this and they play basketball and they play softball and we don't fund that. I go, well, yeah, but there's not a direct line that you can trace into the actual, what I would consider the mission and goals of the Outdoor Heritage Fund, of preserving habitat, preserving the heritage of hunting and shooting, getting access for kids. To me, that's a direct line. Plus, when they start spending money, or their parents start spending money, they're dumping into the Pittman Robinson Fund, which does the same thing. They're funding, gun ranges. They're supposed to, habitat, wildlife. It all connects. Unlike, and I reminded him, by the way, I said the trap or the shooting sports in general are generally funded privately by foundations or private people or fundraisers, where high school sports are funded by your tax dollars, everybody. Yeah, parents in North Dakota, I do think, have to pay a little bit of fee, but it's nothing compared to what the cost of the programs are to the taxpayer for so few in reality. And I go, to play sports, you have to have a certain amount of talent, and I do believe that. You don't really need any talent to shoot. You can learn how to shoot proficiently and accurately. So to me, that's just a way better use of dollars. Anyway, it did not make it through, unfortunately. One that did make it through, that's why I wanted to kind of talk about it, was the Lime Sand Seafelt Dam Reparation Project. So this was one that essentially they have a dam that's in pretty bad shape, and it has to do around the spillway. They got to rebuild the whole spillway, pull out the drain, and redo it. I mean, it's literally washing away. And if they don't do something, they will lose that dam. And when you look at it from an aspect of the Outdoor Heritage Fund, so I know that wildlife drinks out of it. It's a great fishery. There is livestock around it, so the livestock waters out of that. It's a good source of fresh water for the livestock. It encompasses everything to me as to what we should be doing. And you want to talk about bang for the buck? They're going to rebuild this whole thing. The total project cost was around $240,000. They were asking for about $178,000. They had some in-kind donations. They had some fundraisers. They had some things going on, and I couldn't see the problem with this one, and it made it. So I was happy. That was one that went through. I'm really happy about that, and it's going to be a good project. Now, some of those, I wasn't real enthusiastic about. I mean, here's $1 million is what they ended up getting. They were asking for 1.6. Remember, we had to trim. We set a top end on that 10 million of spending $4 to $6 million. Isn't that funny how we just throw them numbers around today? $4 to $6 million we spent today in a matter of hours, and we could have spent up to 10, but then there'd be nothing left for the December meeting, and they have a December round. So that was why that was put into place. I guarantee you, if that wouldn't have went through, if we wouldn't have got that past the cap, they'd have spent all 10 million. I know that's what would have happened. Anyway, so here's one that's $1 million. That's what they ended up getting. And this was from North Dakota Game and Fish for donation supported plots. And what they're talking about, they added something to their website where you can donate your fees when you apply. You can donate that for plots. I think I saw that on there too. Some other things. I'm not a big advocate of this. It passed anyway. It passed. What was it? I think it was 7 to, I don't even remember, 7 to 12 or 7 to 10. I don't know. Whatever many. Anyway, it passed. I didn't write all that down. And they've already had stuff here. I mean, the last 2 rounds, they $600,000 for private forest improvement. I remember that when I voted no. Western Dakota private land open to sportsman plots. $1.5 million they were awarded. The year before that, here's one they had. A few years before that. But they had the Red River Basin Wildlife and Quality Enhancement Pilot Program, $270,000. $100,000 before that, $1.9 million before that. It's not like they haven't been awarded money. And this is what I used to see in the NRA Foundation grants. Everybody, yeah, Leon says, yeah, monopoly money for them. Yeah, it was like it was line item budget. So, oh, it's there. We'll go ask for the world. And if you have a governmental agency asking, they ask for everything, hoping to get they have an amount that they want, but they ask for a whole bunch. We used to weed that out of our NRA grants. We really set a precedent, I think, when we were working together on those. And I watched both them state committees in North and South Dakota. They set priorities. It made that money go further and touch more people, because we quit funding. Some programs you're going to fund all the time because that's just the nature of the beast. But some of those, they weren't doing anything on their own because they were using us as their line item budget. And that's not what that was for. So we saw a lot of new things come. We saw a lot of things happen across both states on the east and the west side. And it was a great thing. So I kind of see this, only these are bigger numbers, but you see the same things. I mean, here's one right here. 2.5 million is what they got. They were asking for 3.9. Here's the summary of the project. Focus on marginal cropland acres in the state where 10,000 acres will be impacted within the project period through working grassland restoration and grazing infrastructure installation. Enrollment would be a 5-year term. If that wording sounded familiar to some of you from the news media, that emulates the governor's program, the soil health one, except it deals with bigger parcels of land, versus that program was small little areas around fields, focused more so on farm ground. This one's probably focused more on ranch grass grazing stuff. So, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but here's what they've received in the past. Well, there's all of the things they received in the past. It's not like they haven't had money. I mean, they've had a lot of money. Here's 82,000, 135,000, 892,000, 524,000, 354,000, 1.6 million, 225,000, 186,000, 121,000, 672,000, 1,050,000. I mean, that's a lot of money over just a few years. So that's why I want to talk about this today. I appreciate Daryl and the Farm Bureau putting me on there, because it's opened my eyes to something I didn't even know existed. Here's another one. It went through. I voted no. 1.5 million is what they got. They were asking for 2.5. Remember, we set the cap at 6 million, so cuts had to be made. That's a good thing. We're saying we got, but I don't think we cut deep enough. And I know there were people there that wanted to literally fund everything. But check out this group. This here is, look at that. We got 2 pages of grants that they've been awarded. Seriously, they've been awarded. 23,967,434. That is what they have been awarded to date. Wow. $23 million in grants. One organization has been awarded to date. Here's one I voted no on this. This was I call it. I don't understand this one at all, why you'd fund it, but it did get. So this was for getting rid of trees, essentially. North Dakota Wildlife Federation. They're doing matches of $75,000. They asked for 205. The whole total project's 280,000. It's all public knowledge. So I'm not saying anything that's secret. But $125,000 was awarded. They're calling it a statewide on-the-ground habitat restoration project to remove, and here's the thing, woody encroachment. That's the new word. I heard that last year. I heard that last December. Woody encroachment. And then when they get into it, they start wanting to take away things like, Russian olives trees, I've seen them spread, but you realize there used to be no trees in this state? I can't see why we're taking out trees for the sake of taking out trees myself. I really don't. They had another one, and that was that they had, and it was to be done with prescribed fire. Now, prescribed fires on land are good. I've been involved with them. I've seen the results, but they have to be thought out. But now they're going to do this where they come in here and they will actually chop them or grind them. They've got all the machines to do this stuff and take it out. I wasn't a fan of that one. It passed. But that's kind of a 10,000 foot overview of it. If you're interested in the next meetings, and I'll be announcing them on the show all the time too. Dan Brown says, "Why are you not naming some of these organizations?" Well, I can, Dan. Yeah. Here's North Dakota Natural Resources Trust, North Dakota Partners for Fish and Wildlife Program. Yeah, I guess I can name them. It's all, here's North Dakota Game and Fish. This one here, the Ramsey County Wetland Mitigation Bank and Mink Run and Wildlife Management Area. We did not even hear that when we threw that one out in the beginning for a lot of different reasons. Here's another one from North Dakota Natural Resources Trust. They had, 1, 2, 3, I think 4 in there. Lemoore County Water Resource District. That was the one in the Jamestown area that to fix their dam. That's a local one. The Coyote Clay Target League wanting their bunker trap. I mean, they're only asking for $143,000. When you look at the grand scheme of things, I really was disappointed that we weren't able to get that one over the line. Of course, North Dakota Wildlife Federation. City of McVille Dam and Recreation Area Improvements probably was a good project, but it didn't fit what we were doing, honestly. City of Crystal, and then they had this Cart Creek Recreation Area. The thing is, not a bad idea what they wanted to do as far as what they wanted to build, but didn't fit this narrative as far as I was concerned either. And one was the city of Clark. It basically was a nature trail with cement. That was a really expensive part. And it really didn't, it had a mulch on the ground, and it wasn't a very big area, and it really didn't fit the narrative of what the Outdoor Heritage Fund really does, in my opinion. And no one else thought that either, so we were on the same page there. The other one I was talking about was a restoration of a dam, and then they wanted a campground. Again, is a campground something... I don't know. I was listening to the arguments on both sides of this. Is it part of the Outdoor Heritage Fund mission, getting people out there? Access. Is camping access? Maybe. We need to define what we're going to do in this. And we're going to have a policy board meeting coming up here in September, which I think will be a good discussion. At least define what are we really, other than what already is in the Outdoor Heritage Fund literature, we need to define as a board what the word heritage means. That's different. And trust me, that's way different to so many people on there. And what is nature? And what is public access? It's funny how you and me and a lot of people out here might think it's the same thing. It's not. Trust me. I found that out today. It is not the same in everybody's eyes. So I really, but enjoyed it. It was actually a good discourse. There was no yelling at this meeting. It's not like when you get into somebody's, everybody we disagreed and still walked away, and everything was fine, which was great to see that. Like I said, I think I voted. I got to look. I think I only voted for the one. In fact, I know that's all I voted for. It's the only one I thought was worth voting for. I would just like to see some parameters set and go here and kind of let the applicants know, here's the priorities of the board. And Kelly came, Governor Armstrong came and talked to us this morning. And to me, I thought that he had a very crystal clear message, and I agreed with most of that where we're at in this and where the money should really be focused on, especially when you don't have enough money to do it all. Now, I got to look up the Century Code. There was a lot of talk today on this, and maybe I'll have to call you, Daryl, if you're still listening, and visit about this here the next day or two. Supposedly there's a $40 million bucket cap, whatever you want to call it, but They only do 15 million essentially. That's the cap set by, I guess, the legislative committee in the appropriations process that they will allocate to the fund. And there's people who would like to have more money. And I am not a believer that every grant someone puts in needs to be funded. And I mean, I literally heard this argument today. Well, they put in all this time, they did this. So I don't care if they did. Great. I'm glad they did it. Wrong place. Not every grant it needs to be funded or should be funded. They're not all good grants. They're not all meeting the mission. Some of them are asking for things that because they can, but they would never do that in their own budgets. It's just not every grant is a good grant. And there seems to be a majority of people that think like that right now. But maybe we can get that changed. I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed it today. I did. I liked being there and listening to all the applicants. I actually went and talked to a couple of them that they didn't get money today, but I do believe that there's an avenue, and I encourage them to reapply because I think it's a really good project and fits the narrative and the mission of the Outdoor Heritage Fund. So if you don't know where that money comes from, it's raised from the oil and gas, what taxes and royalties or one or the other. And that's what dumps in there, and that's where this money comes from. But I just want to talk a little bit about that. Justin says the Russian olive wasn't the only thing that was removed. The juniper was, yes, you're right. They want to get rid of the junipers as well. Russian olive still provides cover for game animals. They remove them from Lake Audubon, and now there isn't any deer around there on the west side and by where the canal starts. That's just it, guys. Russian olives are hardy. I think they'll grow anywhere. Are they aesthetically pleasing? I guess not. They don't bother me. I love them in the tree row because of what he just talked about. I have deer in there. They love it in there. Kelly's listening on here. He knows how many deer are around my place, and that's partially they're in those tree rows. And I just can't see the point in removing trees and planting it back down to grass if it's providing cover. Now, there might be some circumstances they might need to be removed, but I don't think that's what they're talking about. Native grassland restoration and woody encroachment. I've heard that term so much in the last 6 months that I care to hear, and I'm starting to hear it more, and it's coming out of these entities, these organizations, and these agencies. We already have the lowest deer populations in the state of North Dakota on record. It was reiterated today. They blame habitat. They're blaming farming practices. I think that all contributes, but it's more than that. EHD and disease has taken out more whitetails than anything. I saw it here in my own place. Lost most of my whitetails. They're coming back, so I'm really glad to see that. Mule deer moved in behind them. Trees, guys. Trees are important for habitat in those hard winters. You can have all the grass in the world, but if you don't have any cover that can block wind, you know where them deer hang out? They hang out, especially this year over on my north place, by the trees when we actually had a little bit of winter here earlier this spring. We had an open winter this year, but in those hard winters, they're down here south in my trees down here. They're over here in my trees behind the house, and they're up north with our big stands of trees. That's where them deer go. Or they run to town because little bitty Morristown just south of me here. So trees are important. Brush is important, especially for birds. Yeah, you need them grasslands for them nesting birds. Absolutely, especially grouse. But you also got to have the bushy, wooded areas as much as you can to help with that survival. There's just no doubt about that. So I don't understand the wooded encroachment, the woody encroachment. That is the term. That is the new code term, everybody. Be looking for it because that's how they're referencing it. And it's got to go. Got to go. That's what we were told today by some of these guys with big fancy degrees. But I don't buy it at all. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick update about what I did today and how the meeting went. I'm sure that's never been done before right after a meeting because, heck, when I got on here, I didn't even know what it was. So I definitely will be keeping everybody in the loop on that until I guess I got one term left that I can serve the way it sounds. So, yeah, I guess we'll fill that one out and move on from there. But like I said, September 8th, I believe it was. I should look it up here again. I think it's September 8th. September 8th is our policy meeting. The deadline is November. I'll have to get it for you. I guess I don't know for sure. I think it's at November 9th, 10th. I'll find out for sure. Is the deadline for the next round of grants that an organization can apply. And then we meet on December 8th to review those grants and then send them to the technical committee. Yeah, all these committees and different layers, of course, government. So anyway, if you're interested, get a hold of me. Everyone's got my number, 605-430-9503. You can call me and I can get you where you need to go if anybody is interested. I think to have a project that would qualify, they're going to be, like I said, roughly about, $3.5-4 million left for us to allocate in December. Terrell says, woody encroachment is the new phrase created to suck up money because they can't come up with what they truly needed projects. That's my feeling about it too, Daryl. It really is. And if Daryl knows, he's been in this longer than I have and sat on this board too. It's just when they can't come up with anything, they've got to apply for something. And then they push it really, really, really hard. That's true. Brian says, lots of ASC shelter belts are only Russian olives left. Yeah, I mean, that's very true. And then he mentions Karagandas. Yeah, I got Karaganda in this tree row out to the north. They're doing fine. Like I said, they might not be the most eye-pleasing tree, but, where I'm planting them, they're not in my yard. Although I'd put them in my yard, wouldn't bother me. But they are down in the yard around the lake cabin, and they do just fine. And they're hardy. They don't die. They provide shade. They get little stickers on them. Yeah, so don't go in them. They're not meant for you. But the wildlife love them. So, yeah, I have very hardy trees. Yeah, they provide cover. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't understand why we're removing these things, but now, so woody encroachment, you've heard it too. Daryl's heard it too. And just keep your eye on that and be skeptical when you hear the words woody encroachment. That's all I can tell you. But again, if you need the information, if you think you got an organization or some project that would qualify, I'd like to see that money. That money's going to get spent. I'd rather see it go to a good project rather than another governmental agency coming up with and inventing ways to spend it. And it just seems like that's what I see a lot of that happening. So anyway, I'm going to take I'm very tired tonight. So it probably sounds like it. I'm going to take another quick break here. I'm going to come back and we're going to do just a little bitty hit on what's coming up on the Supreme Court. And then I'm going to wish everybody a great Independence Day after that and call it an evening because it's been a long day for me. I was up very early and I traveled up there to do that and then back. So I will thank some sponsors here, and I'm going to start off again. We got Crappie Creek Feeds, LLC, our newest headlining sponsor, along with Lauer Auto Repair and Kalon's Auto. Jason and Megan Holm, 605-850-3998. Again, 605-850-3998. For all your livestock, mineral, liquid, and salt needs, give them a call. And I'm telling you, that garlic, he's got garlic salt, but I bought barrels that have garlic in them, and I put our cows on them, and the flies have not been near as bad as they have in the past, and I don't have to use a lot of fly spray or chemical. I'm really trying to get away from that stuff. So you're going to want to give them guys a call. Crappie Creek Feeds out of Glad Valley, South Dakota, 605-850-3998. And we'll be right back after this break.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto. Don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalon's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalon and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just 1 block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemmon. Kalon's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
All right, we are back. I was on the wrong screen there, everybody. As I said, I'm tired tonight. Anyway, I know that data centers were mentioned, and I'm not going to go too far down into that, but I had to just go, and I know Daryl was talking about this at one point here too as well on his show. So it's estimated that there's about 4,000 to 5,000 data centers in the United States, and that's just a broad estimate. Virginia leads that count, 665 plus facilities. Texas follows that up with 413 to 477. California with 290 to 321 estimated. Total inventory could be bigger, it says, because of operational ones under construction and planned facilities, anywhere to 5,400. They were predicting over 700 data centers that are currently under construction across 38 states, with more than 1,500 in various stages of planning, driven largely by AI infrastructure demand. So what does that all mean? Now, we're not going to go into it tonight. They're only using about 20% of their capacities. They've been around for a while. They're building them fast, quick. I don't like it. I don't like that at all. I want to know more about it before I would ever be for it. Are we going to stop it? Probably not. But the way they're going about and trying to eminent domain and the things that the natural resources they suck up, and they're not using the full capacity of them. Think about this. If we get around 5,400 and they're only using 20%, what happens when they use 50 or even 30? Start increasing it. What are they doing with them? And I have an idea, but that's a whole nother show. I think it's going to make the Second Amendment even more important as far as that goes. Yeah, Justin here says, it's funny how climate change is now not mentioned when discussing data centers. I know, it's because, climate change has always been a joke, man-made climate change. But it's another way of control, and it's just a way to extort money from we the people. Plain and simple. All these things are designed to extort money from us to feed the beast. I mean, that's just the way it is. So I'm going to move in, though, to the Supreme Court. So they've wrapped up their session, and I wasn't real happy with some of the results and the decisions. But, hey, that's the way it goes. But I did find it interesting. So we've had all kinds of assault weapon bans, military-type gun bans, Glock switches, you name it. And you can associate it with whatever purple or blue state you want. California, Colorado, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, your commie states. I mean, that's where this stuff is taking place. Well, they have agreed to hear a case on the ban of so-called assault weapons. So this is big news, and I kind of mentioned it a little earlier. It's Vermontes versus Cook County, and Grant versus Higgins, and the one versus Higgins, I believe it is. Yeah. Oh no, here's a different one. There's also one with the National Association of Gun Rights. They're both there, but this one is also associated with the National Association for Gun Rights versus Lamont. So I did not know that. These revolve around the concept of an assault weapons ban. And the Supreme Court now has merged two of those cases into one. That's what they do. They granted them that. So that's what that was about. It's going to be interesting to watch how this moves through in the next term. It's kind of positive. We've seen some great Second Amendment decisions. The difference between what we saw today with anchor babies versus Second Amendment is we have some pretty heavy cases now, 3 of them, including Bruin and Heller, and then just here in this last announcement of decisions that are going to cement the precedent for us. So I am a little bit encouraged by this. I do like how they talk about that there would be a possibility in these particular 2 cases that they might even overturn banned items, that being Glock switches is what it pretty much, because they're calling those an illegal device that you can put on your gun, much like the bump stocks. That made it into a machine gun. No, it didn't. It just made it more rapid. It was still semi-automatic function. Or your binary triggers where one pull back and forth, release, 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 release. So we could see the Supreme Court say, hey, any hardware either associated it's not able to be banned. It is unconstitutional to ban those items. We'll see. I'd like to see that. I'm really going to be looking forward to the next term to see what other cases they might add to that as things go, and as other cases come through. They might put off hearing it till they see some of these other cases. I don't know. But I'm really looking forward to see where they're going to go, because by the time they come back to session, now that this has been accepted, there's a lot of things that are going to happen. You're going to see everything written up that you can. You're going to see all the arguments that are going to come out, the amicus briefs. I mean, you're going to know what the other side and what our side is going to do before they even get to court. So it's going to be a great thing to see. Kind of give us an idea where this case is going to go. I do like what he said here. This is from a guy from Cam & Company. If you didn't know him, he's the guy that wrote this particular one, and I liked what he said. He goes, worst case scenario is the status quo stays the same, because they're not going to overturn Bruin and Heller and those. They're just going to say, no, we're just not going to make a ruling, or we're going to send it back down to the lower court. So I mean, I guess I'm not too afraid of it. I really would like to see an outcome that reverses it. But he's right. Worst case scenario, we take the wins we got. We live to fight another day and keep working on it. So stay tuned for that, everybody. I will keep everybody, as I get more information on it, I'll keep everybody updated. Again, you can reach us here every Tuesday night. That's 7 o'clock Mountain, 8 o'clock Central in the evening. Guns of the 701. Next show, of course, next week will be episode 193. There will be no show on Friday, though, for me on K-Fire, as Todd is gone. And I said, yep, that's fine. So I'm going to go and enjoy the celebration of our Declaration of Independence, or Independence Day, as I like to call it. 4th of July, everybody else seems to call it. But I would just encourage everybody to get out there, have some fun, spend time with your families. And remember, everything is because of God's will. Everything. And he will steer us in the right direction. You just got to trust. And that's why I don't seem like I get as worried anymore, maybe. But again, I appreciate everybody ever so much for watching and tuning in. Thanks to all our great sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. And we'll see you all next week on another great episode of Guns in the 701. Keep your